Hello, everybody. Celebrating Pride Month, Illinois Realtors is very proud to host a panel today with the LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance's Chicago leadership team. And we've got the entire leadership team today. So we'll get to know more about them and the Alliance, and you will get to learn how to get involved with the Alliance.
Yeah, I'm Jeremy Fisher. I'm with Compass Real Estate here in Chicago. I focus primarily in the Lakeview, Lincoln Park, Andersonville, Edgewater neighborhoods, and I am the social media chair for the Alliance Chicago.
I'm Joe Gerber. I work with Engel and Volker Chicago and Engel and Volker Chicago North Shore. I serve the north and northwest suburbs of Chicago, as well as a sprinkling of the northern communities in Chicago. And I'm the vice president of the Chicago chapter of the Alliance.
Megan Oswald with Coldwell Banker. I primarily work in the areas of Uptown, Logan Square, Portage Park, Avondale, inner city neighborhoods. And I am the current secretary for the Alliance.
Hi, Michael Plageman, American Family Insurance. I protect and restore dreams. I take care of home insurance, support all the agents in our organization. I am the treasurer for the Alliance. I work in Illinois and in 9 other states as well.
I'm going to start off with Megan, actually. So Megan, putting you on the spot here, is there an event coming up June 17th that everyone watching this should know about?
There is. So we have our first in-person event that we are extremely excited about. It's going to be June 17th, as you mentioned, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Wood in Boys Town on Halsted Street. We're super excited about it because all of the proceeds that are generated from this event are going to go to support Light Collective, which is an amazing nonprofit organization that helps support homeless young people, right? And so, again, if anyone's available June 17th, please feel free to stop by.
Jeremy, what's the craziest real estate story that you can share that's maybe rated PG? We don't need anything beyond that.
Craziest real estate story. I think, gosh, I have so many that probably aren't appropriate, but thinking of one that is appropriate, I think just probably dealing with sometimes like you have like renters that are living in a space and they're not really necessarily thinking about the selling of the property in the same light that the owners are. So sometimes you'll walk into a property certainly and see some things that you're like, oh, they clearly weren't thinking that anybody was going to see how they lived or what the case might be. So that's just one of the more G-rated examples, but I'll leave it there.
Sure.
I represented an owner of a rental building that was a warehouse and office building that was converted into 2 rentals, and I listed both of them. And the back unit, because it was tenant occupied when I listed it last year, we weren't allowed to be showing rentals that were tenant occupied during the beginning of the shutdown. And the first showing was a broker himself who came to look at the unit, and I didn't know anything about it, actually. I took pictures from the last listing. It had no windows, and there was water coming out of the sink underneath, and he actually rented it, and now he works for me. So
Wow.
All I'll say is I'm really good at selling things, apparently.
Clearly.
That's fantastic.
So, Michael, let me ask you, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, or is there some new platform I should know about?
Well, hey, good morning. Thanks, Gideon, for having us on here today. Instagram is my go-to for social media. I certainly use Facebook a lot. I think I've gotten a little too old for TikTok. I don't know. I mean, I think everybody's doing it, but maybe I'm missing out.
I don't know. I think I'm old school. I'm Facebook all the way. I just love it. So I'm definitely do use Instagram quite a bit, but I'm still, I love the content on Facebook. TikTok, I'm out. Like it's beyond my scope of knowledge at this point. So.
We should try to do a dance off or something for TikTok.
Maybe
that would be a great way for us to
get the whole group together.
Yeah, I love it. Exactly.
I am out, not doing that.
Megan, post-COVID lockdowns, do you have any new summer plans?
Well, let's see. I am actually going to Spain next month. So for my 40th, I was like, I need to get out of here. I'm ready to go. And so I have a trip planned to Spain, Barcelona, Ibiza. at the end of July. So I'm super excited about that. Well, actually, let me backtrack. Right now, there are some places that are being shut down out there. So that is my plan. Let's see if I actually make it there.
All right.
Sounds great.
You can put me in your suitcase. What book or podcast do you recommend to friends or family? Jeremy?
The podcast that I listen to the most is Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. It's amazing. That's like probably my go-to. The other one that I liked a lot was Amy Schumer's podcast. Neither are which are real estate related, but I just want to say I don't like I use podcasts and stuff like that for my entertainment. So I keep it very compartmentalized. So, but those are my two go-tos for sure.
I'll say that my all-time favorite book is House Rules by Jodi Picoult. It's an older book, but I grew up with special needs. My past career was in special ed, raised by a single mom. It's a really interesting story that literally feels like my life story, and it's incredibly uplifting and inspiring. And that's usually the book that I tell anyone. If you want to get to know me or you want to read something that I love, that's literally the one.
So I'm sitting at my desk at home, and The Daily Stoic is the book that I go to every day for the morning meditation. So if I can find ways to remain calm in any environment, not to get too excited or too upset about something, that helps me, relate to my friends and family and my customers and my team. So that's something I've been reading since January.
And Megan, what are you going to be reading or listening to on the beaches of Spain?
I have a couple books. Most of them have to do with diversity and inclusion and a lot of like work type stuff. But as far as podcasts, there's one that I listen to. These two are out of Canada, and I met one years ago when I went to Canada for New Year's and randomly met her and kind of stayed in contact via social media. But her and another had a podcast called Cove Collective, and they basically center around BIPOC women, voices and femmes and queer community. So it's called Cove Collective, and it is on Spotify, which is my go-to kind of like streaming app. And they have a lot of great stories, a lot of great encouragement. They actually also have a book club that they kind of work through as well. And it's great. Actually, that's one of my faves.
Why did you join the Alliance? Megan, let's start with you.
I joined the Alliance because in this industry, and being in this industry for so long, there's always different changes that we need to make. And I have found that the community that I work with, I would say about 75% of my businesses, we've ran into some trouble and some hiccups and I wouldn't even say some hiccups. We ran into some very unfortunate situations to where my clients were not well received, whether it be an offer, whether it be at a showing. And so I joined the Alliance to pretty much get, to create a different message out there, right? To try to stand up for our family and our community.
Yeah, I find that so often in our industry, we will join groups that are specific to networking. And what I found unique about the Alliance was it was an opportunity to do that, but there was a bigger goal here, and that was to offer like a philanthropic component to it, where we could be out doing good in the community and helping people and using our knowledge related to this industry or other industries that are related. And I also really liked that it was we were coming in at the beginning, right, and building from the ground up and really like making this organization into what we all want it to be.
I wanted to be a teacher. So everything that I do in my life is centered in the lens of how can I help someone, right? Helping people. And so I don't look at real estate as I sell houses. I look at it as I help people buy or sell real estate. And I work with a lot of people who belong to underrepresented communities. Part of it is I grew up in a pretty affluent community, but I was always half fitting in and half fitting out and standing out because I was raised by a single mom, and divorce and stuff kind of just existed in my life. And so hardship is no stranger to me, and triumphant overcoming of those obstacles is also a really important part of my story. And so I think very often about what can I do now that I've evolved in real estate? And when Curtis called me and connected with me about the Alliance, I did a lot of research, and yes, it's a networking opportunity, but I feel like Megan and Michael and Jeremy and all of us have built really great professional friendships in our advocacy work, right? We've become friends in this common mission. And I think that's the most powerful form of networking.
Michael, you're not a realtor, but tell me about your decision to join and support the LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance.
I'm an insurance agent. I help make sure that people are okay if something happens to the house that they've bought. But I believe in the change that happens in people's lives when they decide to become a homeowner or rent their first apartment. And I believe that a lot of times the adulting process is delayed when we're having fun when we're younger. And I love my friends that are buying their first place or renting their first apartment on their own and being able to do that. So for me, it's all about supporting people's life and their progress towards their own goals of home ownership and making sure that they're well protected. I'm very involved in the Chicago recovery community, and seeing people's lives change and improve is definitely a big part of what makes my clock tick.
How are you celebrating Pride Month?
I think for me, Pride is always a celebration of survival, right? Both in my story, all of our collective stories, but also thinking about those before us who fought for our right to have this pride and to exist authentically, and also thinking about those who can't yet live authentically for whatever reason. And so for me, it's always really just no different. It's connecting with people, going to events like our event on the 17th next week. But I think it's just listening to stories. I think for me, Pride is always an opportunity to learn about more people and connect with more people from this lens of queer community, queer identity, and what it means to be me and what it means to be Megan. I think it's just an opportunity to reaffirm our connection to our community.
I am celebrating Pride Month this year by spending as much time as I can, quality time with friends and family, and just really enjoying ourselves and being, comfortable with who we are and happy with where we are in life. And I am also, doing as much as I can to be out in the community and to, go to events such as ours on the 17th at Wood, and to just be present. It's an interesting year. Last year was kind of shut down, so it's an opportunity to sort of reflect on that and remember, the sense of community that we all have.
Honestly, Pride Month for me is like Joe had mentioned. It's the same as every other month, right? In the bigger picture, in the bigger scheme of things. But in reality right now, I'm really excited, as Jared mentioned, to actually be able to see people in person this month. So in addition to being at the Wood on June 17th for our event, I'm actually planning a Pride in the Park with just some friends, not your typical commercialized Pride in the Park that they're putting on downtown, but just amongst my friends, individuals that I have formed and built a relationship with, and individuals that have helped me feel comfortable in my own skin.
Pride Month is the best month of the year, in my opinion. So Pride Month for me is all about love. We get to love each other. Love wins. Love has won for our community. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to spend time with some of my friends, family, and customers and referral sources in person to actually celebrate this month. And I'm excited about our event on Thursday, where I've invited the people that are important to me and can come and celebrate and support another organization. So just like we've learned in the last year about the value of how precious life is and how easily things can change and how important it is to recognize differences in the Black Lives Matter movement. And, this month we're going to, this month, in my opinion, encapsulates all of those things together to make sure that we continue to recognize and support our community. So very, very prideful this month.
If somebody wants to join the Alliance in Chicago, where can they go? How should they find that information?
They can go to realestatealliance.org and they can search Chicago and they can click join.
Excellent. Well, thank you. That was great. I appreciate it, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.